What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out the latest robot vacuum from Ilife called the A11. This is a robot that can vacuum and can also mop, and it also does mopping a bit differently than most other robot vacuums available on the market. Inside it we have a 5200 mAh battery that will keep the vacuum going for up to 3 hours, depending how you use it of course, because if you're gonna be using it at the maximum suction power like myself, you're not going to be getting that 3 hours of vacuuming time, but if you do lower the suction power a bit, you can get up to 3 hours of vacuuming time. Talking about suction power, this one has plenty of suction, more suction power than most other robot vacuums available on the market, so it only has to go over one area once and it will pick up everything from the floor, so a really powerful vacuum. And one of my favorite features for this vacuum, and really most robot vacuums out there, is the Lidar navigation system. So this one will map out your entire house. Of course, there is an app that you can control it from. It will map out the entire house. It knows exactly where it is. It knows where it has to go. It's not going to go over the same area twice unless you want it to go over the same area twice. So very helpful having a Lidar navigation system. Alright, and next we're gonna start by doing a bit of an unboxing just so you can get an idea of what comes in the box with it. Alright, so the vacuum comes in a pretty big box, and inside the box you're gonna find everything you need so you can start vacuuming and mopping right away, plus you get a few extras. So you're gonna find a replacement air filter, you're gonna find a replacement side brush, there is even a replacement main brush. And the replacement main brush is made out of rubber, so this one may work better than the one that comes installed on the vacuum depending on your setup at home, if you have carpets or hard floors. And there is also a replacement mop pad. Aside from that, you're gonna find a two-in-one water tank and dustbin. So if you plan on having this vacuum mop as well, you're gonna use that two-in-one water tank and dustbin. Of course, you're gonna have to fill that one with water, but if you only plan on using the vacuum for vacuuming, you're gonna leave the original dustbin, so the one that comes pre-installed in the device, the clear one. That's the bigger dustbin, and that's the one that you would use if you plan on using the vacuum just for vacuuming. Aside from that, you're gonna find that mop pad attachment that basically goes at the bottom of the vacuum. And then we have the charging dock. So this is where the vacuum will sit most of the time. The vacuum also knows how to go back to its charging dock if it's low on power, for example, or if it's done a cleaning cycle. Whenever it's done a cleaning cycle, it will just go back and start recharging. And of course, you're gonna find the power adapter that has a pretty long cable, but you can hide that cable in the charging dock. The vacuum itself is mostly made out of plastic, and it has the same round shape that we've been seeing with a lot of robot vacuums lately. At the top here we have a couple of buttons, so if you don't want to use the app, for example, you can just press the power button and the vacuum will go on a cleaning cycle. Then we have the lid that lets you access the dustbin. You can take out the dustbin so you can clean it, or you can replace the dustbin with that two-in-one water tank and dustbin that I mentioned earlier. And of course we have the Lidar navigation system at the top here. On the front we have the bumper. The bumper has some sensors inside. Of course, if it bumps into something, it will sense that. And the bumper also has this rubber strip around it. So if it does bump into some furniture, for example, it will not damage the furniture because we have that rubber strip there. And on the back of the vacuum, we have the charging contacts. Turning the vacuum around, there we have some sensors, so the vacuum is not gonna fall down the stairs. It will sense stairs and it will not fall down the stairs. We have the side brush that pushes the dirt towards the main brush and the main suction hole. The main brush can also be removed and cleaned. That will catch a lot of hair on it, depending on your environment at home, of course. But in my case, it does catch a lot of hair and I have to clean that once a week or something like that. And the driving wheels, and that's about it underneath. And as I said, you can attach that mopping module underneath there as well. Like most robot vacuums these days, this one will connect to your home's Wi-Fi network, and you can control it from an app that's available for Android or iOS. So you can find that in the Play Store depending on the device that you have. I've personally used the app on my iPhone. From the app, you can basically change any settings for the vacuums. You can set the suction power, so you can select different suction powers. You can select different modes. So let's say that you just want the vacuum to clean a certain part of a room. You can select like spot cleaning in that particular room. You can see the map, so the vacuum will map out your entire house. It has to go around the house the first time when you set it up, but then it will map out your house. You can change the names of those rooms. So then you can have the office here, the bedroom there, so you know exactly to what room you may want to send the vacuum. So let's say that you spill something in the bedroom or in the kitchen or something like that, you can just open the app and send the vacuum from the app to that particular room. So it doesn't have to clean the entire house, it just cleans whatever you need cleaned. From the app, of course, you can also set do not go zones. So for example, you can make do not go zones whenever the vacuum is mopping, because you definitely don't want it mopping your carpets. So you can set do not go zones. You can also set schedules for it. So let's say that you start work at 9 a.m. You can have the vacuum start vacuuming at 9:30 a.m. So you're not home whenever it's vacuuming. So you have access to all the controls for the vacuum. So that's how you kind of interact with the vacuum through the app. You can also control how wet the floor will be whenever this goes mopping. And basically when this goes mopping, it will go and drag a wet cloth around your floor. Now, compared to not having any type of mopping, of course, that's gonna be great, but there are other devices out there that are more professional for mopping. Unfortunately, the price of those is 3 times more expensive than this one. So for what this is, the mopping that you're gonna get from it is the best that you can possibly get. But if you want something that has much better mopping, well, unfortunately, you're gonna have to spend 3 times the money. I feel that this vacuum is mostly intended for vacuuming, and for vacuuming, it does really well over carpets or hard floors, mostly because it has so much suction power, so it can easily suck up everything from the floor. It has no problem going over carpets. You know, some carpets are a bit thicker, so some vacuums struggle going over them. No issues with that. And this one is also low enough that it can go under my couch. Now, this may not be the case with all couches, but in my case, it can easily go under the couch and under the bed. Personally, I use this at the maximum suction power at all times because I just wanted to go over one area and pick up everything from the floor, but there is also a quiet mode in there. So if you're working from home, for example, and you don't want that much noise around you can have it on the quiet mode. But again, on the quiet mode, it doesn't have as much suction power. So it depends on your setup, it depends if you're home and so on. So far, I haven't had any issues with it. It goes over one area and it cleans up everything from the floor, the carpet, or whatever. So really, really good at vacuuming. Like most robot vacuums out there, it is recommended that you clean up the floor a bit before having this go vacuuming. For example, if you have cables on the floor, if you have your phone cable on the floor, the charger for your cable, you're probably better off to remove that, because otherwise the vacuum will go over it and it will get caught in that brush at the bottom. The same kind of goes for toys. So it is always best and recommended to clean up the floor a bit before having the vacuum. So there you have it. This is the Ilife A11, a really good vacuum for vacuuming mostly. I'm gonna say mostly because it has a lot of suction power. The Lidar navigation system definitely helps, so the vacuum doesn't get lost, doesn't go over the same area twice. So it's fast and efficient, I'm gonna say. For mopping, well, that's the best mopping that you're going to be able to get from a vacuum like this. But as I said earlier, if you're looking for more advanced mopping, you're going to have to spend at least 3 times the money that you've spent on this one. Alright guys, hopefully this video was useful. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.